Krusty the Clown is a notable character in the television series The Simpsons. His real name is Herschel Schmeichel Pinchas Joachim Krustofsky, a name derived from Bible characters and translates roughly to "a holy deer beloved by God." He was born in the Lower East Side of Springfield, which is meant to reference a location in Manhattan that became a neighborhood for Jewish immigrants and which eventually developed into a Jewish population and a community that established Jewish traditions inclusive of kosher markets and diverse heritage. Though Krusty is a Jewish character, his life is irrelevant to religiosity until the later episodes when he is transformed by his religion. Yet, he still has a Jewish name due to his father, a renowned rabbi, Hyman Krustofsky, who people visited as a moral compass in life and is religiously observant. As Rabbi Hyman, Krusty's dad, claims in the episode Like Father, Like Clown, life is not fun, life is serious. He wishes Krusty would carry out a respectable Jewish life, attending yeshiva, reading the Torah, and continuing his father's legacy in the Springfield community. However, Krusty is naturally inclined to goofy tendencies and interested in making people laugh, although he attempted to attend yeshiva and read the Torah and strive to obey and please his father. Throughout the interaction with his father and members of the Simpson family, Krusty eventually rediscovers the value of Judaism over the course of the episode. Even with his father's continuous attempts for Krusty to become mature and respectable, Krusty performs at the Bermuda Conference, where his father witnesses his son performing on stage. From that day on, his father disowns Krusty, saying, "I have no son," implying that Krusty has been a disgrace to the family and does not deserve to be the successor of a respected rabbi. One observation that could be made here is the polarized power dynamics of Krusty and his father, which leads to Krusty's career choice and disoriented lifestyle. In an increasingly liberal society, where different ideals, values, and career orientations are possible, Krusty could have been influenced by the outside world, a world full of possibilities, and a profession as a comedian outside the Jewish sphere of influence. I believe that this could be inferred from the playwriters Jake Hogan and Wallace Wolodarski of episode Like Father, Like Clown have parodied in the 1920s movie The Jazz Singer, which tells the story of young Jackie Rabinowitz refusing to be a cantor or following family traditions, but rather wished to be a performer. Unlike the original movie, however, Krusty as a character develops over time into a genuine human being that recognizes that there is more to his life than his profession and the various meanings waiting to be uncovered. After his father disowns him, Krusty finds fame as a clown on television. He also has a very disoriented lifestyle. He develops a gambling addiction, burns through money, literally using $100 bills as cigarettes, and abuses alcohol and drugs as depicted in the episode Homie the Clown. An interesting analogy is portrayed in the article written by Martin Knotsky called Trope and Irony in the Simpsons Overture, which attempts to explore Krusty's complex nature, duality, and intrinsic motives through the setting, music, and tone of the story. This music introduces Krusty as a character who is always troubled by an inability to establish a proper rhythm, wholesome habits in life. While Krusty's original intentions as a clown were to entertain people and put a smile on their faces, the duality of his identity is concealed under his makeup, the life of a rather depressed man who spends the majority of his time on self-destructive activities. Outside of his struggle of finding meaning and happiness in the midst of a disorderly life, Krusty is criticized by critiques outside the show for the degree to which he is in the entertainment industry for business and money. In the episode The Last Temptation of Krusty, Krusty admits that he is merely selling out, and that it ain't comedy that's in my blood, it's selling out. Across different episodes, Krusty becomes a spokesperson for a lot of different products. It is clear that he is indifferent to the quality of these products and merely exploits his name as a brand to acquire money through deceitful means. I believe from a Jewish perspective, Krusty may serve as a partial antithesis of what it means to be Jewish, a tradition of integrity and dedication to honest work, a tradition in which greed and selfish thinking are devalued. However, Krusty starts to develop a sense of regret over the course of the series as he becomes more mature and introspective. Think about his career as being beyond a superficial means of achieving fame and money. Slowly, Krusty realizes that he regrets the abandonment of his heritage in exchange for living a life as a sadist TV host. As shown in The Last Temptation of Krusty, Krusty acknowledges that he should have focused more on enhancing the quality of his show rather than selling a bunch of futile products. Now Krusty is literate and able to perform better acts in public, which is in itself a character development for a once illiterate Krusty. Regardless, he no longer wishes to endorse any of his products, but focuses on creating a quality show, even rejecting a business deal that he encounters. Along with this character development, Bart, a prominent character in The Simpsons and a fan of Krusty, convinces Rabbi Krustofsky to give Krusty a second chance and reunite with him. In convincing the rabbi, Bart quotes from Yes I Can by Sammy Davis Jr., a great black Jewish entertainer, to pay homage to his authority on Jewish pride in overcoming depression, and expresses the racial and religious interventions that followed, to prove that even entertainers and clowns like Krusty himself could be a respected member of the Jewish community. As exemplified by Krusty, forgiveness is a theme in Judaism. Another perspective we can gain from Krusty and his immediate surroundings is the notion that leading our lives in our new pluralistic society causes confusion to the average American viewer and family. Given The Simpsons, a quintessential family that represents the general American family at the time, and seems to be somewhat tolerant of diverse perspectives, we can identify cultural norms and generational differences within the family. When invited to a dinner with The Simpsons, Krusty is asked by Marge Simpson to say the blessing to the food. In response, Krusty says a prayer in Hebrew, which Homer believes is funny talk. His daughter later informs Homer that Krusty is speaking Hebrew and that he must therefore be Jewish. There are two key implications that could be made from such a scene. The first is the idea that Jewish people were overrepresented in vaudeville, a type of entertainment popular chiefly in the US in the early 20th century, featuring a mixture of specialty acts such as burlesque, comedy, and song and dance. Due to this overrepresentation, Jews appeared frequently in early movies and television shows. More concerning, however, is their misrepresentation of Jewish ideals, values, traditions, and Jewishness overall in our modern era. The early stages of television and how Jewish populations were portrayed seem to oversimplify Judaism in a number of ways, thus offending its culture. Although Jews represent only 2% of the American population, they are widely shown and represented on television through outdated stereotypes and lenses, just as how Krusty is represented. These wrong perceptions lead to a society where Jewish people are stereotyped in specific ways, which in effect alters the behavior of the people interacting with them, even causing them to be upset or provoke sensitive topics accidentally.
Hey, whoa! Wasn't that great, kids? So, all you kids come out this weekend and really pack this place just to show them how grateful I am. I told them you would. Don't make me a liar!
Apart from the flawed perceptions of Jewishness that Krusty shows rather implicitly, he also enables for the possibilities of correcting the wrongful perceptions of Judaism and explores deeper into Jewishness. Revelations of Judaism coincide with the development of Krusty throughout the latter episodes of The Simpsons. For example, in the episode Today I'm a Clown, Krusty is found devastated that he is not on the Jewish Walk of Fame, a sidewalk on which respectable members of the Jewish community have their names engraved on the ground. When he inquires why his name is not on the sidewalk, even after his prevalent influence on television series and his acknowledgement as a celebrity, he realizes that he has yet to celebrate becoming a bar mitzvah. When he goes to consult Lisa Simpson, one of Krusty's close friends and a fan, she informs Krusty that even an adult could become a bar mitzvah, as stated in the Talmud. At first, when Krusty conducts a bar mitzvah on his goofy show, his father disapproves. When he finally does a proper one in the synagogue later in the episode, however, his father finally acknowledges Krusty as his son and is transformed. This signifies an important transition in The Simpsons, since Krusty is essentially pleading no longer to waste his life away on immoral and irresponsible acts such as gambling, drinking, drug consumption, and his whimsical habits. When he finally comprehends that his father is commanding him to commit good deeds and create a positive influence in the world, Krusty is touched and decides to implement his father's yearnings for him. He, for example, stops expanding his business empire but establishes an animal shelter. Through this episode of Krusty's further character development, I believe that the playwright is trying to exhibit a small portion of Jewish tradition by placing an emphasis on the need to serve others and impact the world positively. By Krusty's gradual transformation throughout the episodes in The Simpsons, it could also be inferred that while Judaism tolerates mistakes, it is also an obligation for people to learn from their past mistakes and rectify their decision-making in the world. While Judaism is not a set of technicalities and restrictions that limit the way in which a person should live, it does provide one's moral compass and the intentionality of living out a life for a transcendent God who has revealed himself in the world. Thus, while a good amount of fiction exists in The Simpsons regarding the behavior and portrayal of Krusty as a Jewish character, his Jewish heritage does, in fact, influence the way he conducts life and leads his career as time passes. Jewishness, however, must not be seen as a depiction of Krusty's life, as it is not a black and white way of living, or even a straightforward perception of God, in essence.
Oh, he's talking funny talk.